Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. We're here to celebrate the man of the hour, Brian Callahan. Before we get started, I want to say some thank yous to the people who are part of this search committee and to help drive the interview process. I want to start with Chad Brinker, Anthony Robinson, Burke, Bryce Wasserman, Miss Amy, Kenneth Barkley, our entire business staff, as well as Sarah Bailey, Todd Torricelli, and one name that's not a part of this organization that I feel the need to thank is Zach Taylor, head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals. Zach his ability to communicate with us, about Brian I feel is unmatched, and I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to him. So thank you, Zach, for all the help you provided. Going into the process a little bit, as well documented, as you guys know, we interviewed 9 candidates over the course of 2 weeks or so. It was a long process. I feel like we met with a lot of candidates, mostly via Zoom. We had one in person, as well as the second round interviews that were in person. I want to thank those gentlemen for the time that they gave us. Some guys were still in the playoff hunt, and so it was a little bit of a situation to kind of work around schedules and when teams made guys available to us, but we made it work. I thought our process was very thorough. It allowed us to see the best of each candidate, which ultimately led us to who we're here to celebrate now, in Brian Callahan.
Well, hello everybody. Thank you for joining us today, and wow, it's been an exciting week. I am thrilled to be here to introduce our new head coach, Brian Callahan. And going into this interview process, we knew Brian was a really special candidate. We knew his background and his extensive experience. We saw the list of quarterbacks he's worked with and elite offenses he's been a part of. We knew about his deep knowledge and understanding of the game. And on a personal note, I knew that we both shared the connection of having fathers who passed down their love of football to their children. And after all that research and the reviews of people whose lives and careers he has impacted so deeply, then we got to meet Brian. He exceeded all of our expectations. It was clear how the meeting quickly shifted from your standard interview to a player breakdown session that he and Rand had a very special chemistry between them. Honestly, watching that interaction unfold made us even more confident that he was our next head coach. As our second interview went on, we realized that we didn't want him leaving the building without agreeing to be our next head coach. I've heard various things about me grabbing him and grabbing his legs, but anyway, it was a mutual thing here. When it came time to ask him, we were so happy to learn that he wanted to be a Titan as much as he wanted him to be. We are thrilled that we get to enter this next era of Titans football.
Now, this is a pretty surreal moment for me. I need to fix this for you. Is that good?
Yeah.
You don't get to these places in front of rooms like this with incredible people sitting here watching this without a lot of help along the way. And so I want to make sure that I point out the people that have done that. And most importantly, you're gonna have to bear with me because it might be a little more difficult than I thought it was before I got up here. This really is a lifelong dream of mine to be standing at this podium in front of everybody here. To be a head coach at the highest level, to be this franchise's head coach is a great responsibility and an incredible honor. I'm excited to put in the work and hard work necessary for us to be able to have the success that we all envision. There's great things about Nashville and there's great things about the Tennessee Titans, and part of my job is to make sure that we bring all those things to life. I'd like to thank first and foremost Amy, Kenneth, and Barclay for giving me this opportunity to run this historic franchise in partnership with you. Again, it's an incredible responsibility that I do not take lightly, and it's one that I'm deeply appreciative for. From the moment of our first Zoom meeting, I felt an unbelievable connection to the people in the room, and that was, as Rand mentioned, Anthony Robertson, Chad Brinker, Rand, Carthon was in there, Burke was in there, Bryce was in there. Just the connection from the get-go was incredible. And I knew that it was going to be a place that I wanted to call home. It felt like that from the very beginning. I'm thankful that they felt the same way. I was about to make an impassioned plea to Rand as our meeting was concluding on Monday evening, and it turns out I didn't have to do that. They wanted me about exactly the same way that I wanted them. And that everything felt right. The relationships felt right, the energy felt right. When I was walking around the building and we had opportunities to meet people from different parts of the organization, it was an incredible feeling. It felt like a family. I'll get it together in a second. Katie and Troy Blackburn, their daughters Elizabeth and Caroline, and Duke Tobin and his staff. They gave me an incredible opportunity to grow, and they were patient, and they invested in me, and I'll forever be grateful for that. The next one, again, you can see how much these people mean to me. I'll get it together. All right. And then probably most importantly, Zach Taylor. He's a great friend. He's been an incredible mentor, and he's a fantastic football coach. Thank you for everything. Clear communication, both on and off the field. Meetings, walkthroughs, practices, how we interact in the building, how we work in the front office, how our scouts work, how our players work, how everybody in this building works. Everyone's going to be held to a high standard. We want to be held to a high standard. I've never met a player in football that doesn't want to be held to the highest possible standard so we can go make that happen and get it done. There's going to be excitement to walk into this building every day. You guys saw how emotional I got talking about Cincinnati. Well, that's how I want our players and people to feel here. When you walk in the building every day, there's an incredible excitement about what's ahead. Anybody who deals with our players, the expectation is to bring great energy, have great experience, and have great expertise. We want everyone who affects them to be able to have that enthusiasm and our shared vision. We're going to be a connected football team. We're going to be a connected organization. I believe in it. If you don't have a connection, it's really hard to do anything of worthwhile. The business of this sport really is all about people and relationships, and so if we don't have any sort of connection, there's really no point in us doing our jobs the way we do it. This is what makes it fun. This is what I enjoy the most, is being able to be connected with the people that I work with every single day. All right? Everyone wants to be a part of something bigger than themselves. That's what makes this sport special. That's what makes sports in general special. But if you're part of something bigger than yourself, you sacrifice for the greater good. You give up some of your individual successes and aspirations so we can lift the team. And there's been, that trait goes from high school through pro football. Every team I've been on that's been great has had those traits. The great state of Tennessee. All right, we're going to need your incredible support. You're a huge part of this. We need Nissan Stadium to be the most feared stadium that people walk into every Sunday. We need every possible bit of energy, every last amount of enthusiasm. Our players need to feel the energy. I can't wait to see you guys there. It's going to be a lot of work ahead, but a lot of fun as well. I'm proud. I'm humbled to be standing here before you as the head coach of Tennessee Titans. Thank you. I called Will I don't even know what day it is anymore, but I called Will a few days ago after I got the job. And then I saw him here today. He was working out, so I got a chance to catch up with him. I told him he's leaving town, I think, tomorrow morning, but he'll be back. But I've really enjoyed getting to know him. I can't wait to get to work with him. He's got a lot of really special physical talents that I'm excited to go see if we can make better. And everything about him so far has been fantastic, and I'm excited to get to go further down into it.
Brian, your catalog of
found in terms of maximizing what a guy can do?
Communication, being able to hear what quarterbacks are comfortable with, what they like. The offense is always going to have enough plays. There's always going to be enough scheme, and so you want to know what the quarterbacks feel great about. And Jake was incredible with his ability to communicate what he liked. We put those things in for him so he could have success. And that's part of what fosters a great quarterback room is the communication between myself, coordinator, quarterbacks coach, and the quarterbacks in the room, is knowing what they like and what they do well. And we try to do as much of that as possible. So if a quarterback says, I don't like something, we're not going to use it, we're not going to call it. And that to me is the most critical part. If you have great feedback and great rapport and a great relationship with those guys, they'll do a great job of giving you the information you need to help them and put them in position to be successful. And Jake was fantastic at it, and obviously led to quite a bit of success. I've been incredibly fortunate to be around great players, and those guys all bring something different and unique. When you talk about Peyton Manning and his incredible ability to prepare, the attention to detail that he brought every single day, the intensity that he went about his job. Those years I was with him showed me what it was like to be what a great quarterback should look like. And not everybody's going to be him, and nor is anybody expected to be. But the foundation of how he went about his business was pretty incredible, and I've taken that everywhere I've gone. As far as the work ethic involved, the attention to detail involved, those things are really important. Obviously Matthew is a great player in his own right, and I learned that Matthew is very different from Peyton, but they were also great players, and you let those players be themselves. And I didn't try to make Matthew do anything that he didn't want to do. He's not Peyton Manning. Their personalities are different, but they're both great players. And what I learned, Matthew was an incredibly tough player. I've never seen a locker room rally around a player like him the way that they did when I was with him in Detroit. He's one of the toughest competitors I've ever been around. And so you see these traits everywhere you go, and you start to realize what it takes for quarterbacks to be successful. And I feel like I've got a lot of guys I've been around. Joe Burrow, obviously, been around a different version of Joe. I got Joe as a young player. A lot of these guys were veteran players when I was around them. And Joe's a remarkable player. He's got a great feel for the game. And so to have an environment as a young player where he was growing and having conversations about what he liked and didn't like really helped me learn how to be flexible with the approach for those players and put them in position to do well. As far as how they go about their daily routine, what they like conceptually and schematically, those conversations in the quarterback room are able to help foster hopefully a lot of success. So, my coaching style is consistent. My demeanor is pretty consistent. I pride myself on being a great teacher. That's first and foremost. As a coach, that's all you really care about is how well can you teach and articulate to the players what they need to do. I have plenty of intensity. I'm a pretty laid back demeanor most of the time, as you guys will see, but when it's time to make corrections and bring the energy that's necessary, I can do that. But my coaching style is a teaching coaching style. We're trying to make sure that our guys know exactly what to do, how to do it, and can go execute at a really high level and as fast as humanly possible.
Right.
So, a lot of things that go into protection. Some of it starts with as simple as you got to go win. You got to win versus tight coverage. Protection is an everybody problem. The quarterback's got to get rid of the ball on time. They have to work through progressions quickly. So to say that it's specifically the offensive line needs to fix the protection problem, I don't agree with that. I think it's a holistic offensive issue if you have protection problems, and there's a lot of ways you can help weaknesses, highlight strengths, and everybody's involved in the process. As far as profiles of offensive linemen and players, obviously you're looking for the guys that are great at pass pro. You're looking for guys that can anchor, guys that got great length. We'll talk about all the traits at a later date, but schematically you can help a ton. You can chip, you can bang edges. Backs got to be fantastic in pass protection. They got to know who to block and how to block them. So it's a holistic offensive issue, and so our job is to find a way to make sure everyone knows all the specifics of what we're trying to get done, and then they can technically go execute it.
Well,
I think I asked him. I don't know how many fathers and sons have been head coaches in the NFL. I don't think it's many, and that's a really, I think it's a very prideful thing for him to be associated with, him and I. And I just, you know, it's been a lot, you live this lifestyle, and there's a lot of ups and downs, and there's a lot of adversity that comes your way in coaching, and so just the fact that I've been able to stand up here and he's been able to do the same thing, for me, that's a huge honor. You know, obviously, you want to be like your dad, you know?
What's
Brian,
maybe the
you-
most important thing, Brian, you learned?
You have to define them. You know, you have to define what the standard is. A lot of that has to do with execution. The way I like to say it is be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. And so as you show guys what the standard is, what the expectation is, the easiest way to do it is if they don't meet it, is to show what that looks like. This isn't what we're looking for. This isn't what we want. You can be very clear and very demanding without having to go jumping through hoops and having the fire raging from your head, but
okay, I need to get on this guy, let him know, but then when you gotta pull back.
it's just a feel. It's again, the biggest part of it is making sure you've built strong relationships with the players, and so you know that they've received those criticisms and coaching points, and whatever messaging you deliver. My messaging is usually pretty similar to how I'm speaking right now, but there's a time and a place where that messaging might need to be a little firmer. That part is attractive. I thought that Will was a really good player coming out of college. And I thought when you watch him play this year, you saw really growth. I mean, you saw him learn. The NFL is hard. It's hard on quarterbacks. It's particularly hard on young ones. And so I saw a lot of really positive things. Some of the throws, some of his competitive instincts that he put on tape were really impressive. And so I'm excited to dive more into that and how can he get better from year 1 to year 2 and keep putting him in position to have success, and so we can score some points on offense. Selfless, that's a big part. You got to have selfless guys. They're a huge part of the run game. They run routes to get other guys open. They work in tandem together. So that's an important part. That's a characteristic as far as physical traits go. You want guys that are big, strong, fast, and can catch. That's a pretty easy way to go about it. The more of those guys you have, the better you're going to be. So, but yeah, we have. I tell you what's great about and this is a huge compliment to those receivers in Cincinnati. Incredibly selfless. Love playing together. Know when their time that the ball could go anywhere, and so they never complained. Not once about who was getting catches or who was getting targets. They knew that at some point it would come for them, and so they just did their jobs every day. They practiced really hard. I thought that was the one thing that was really impressive about that group of players is their practice intensity. They get after it, and that's why we were good, is because of the way that they practice. So, I don't know if I kind of went on a tangent there. I apologize, but I hope that answered your question. Resilient, relentless. You know, I think that's the easiest way to say it. You want your team to have those 2 qualities, and if you have those things, if you're resilient, and you can handle the ups and downs, and you can handle the good and the bad, and you're relentless in how you approach every day at work, every day at practice, every game you play, your results they'll come. And if you turn on the tape and you look at the Tennessee Titans, and I hope those are the 2 words that come to mind.